Hi, I'm Kathy Perret. I'm with the City of Santa Barbara's Water Conservation Department. Today we're going to look for leaks in a sprinkler system. One of the first steps to do before you turn the irrigation on is to do a walkabout. Try and look and see if there's any unusual, inefficient water issues that you might see. Brown spots, dead areas, super green areas, and moss. If we see in this corner over here, we actually have moss, which is indicative of too much water, poor drainage in this area, and it just shouldn't be here, especially during the warm months. Another thing to look for that happens fairly often is the seals around the top of the sprinklers. They're rubber and they'll leak. So you need to take a close look at just the top part of the sprinkler and see if there's water settling in or if you see it gurgling out from around the sides. It's an easy fix. Either replace the little rubber seal that's inside, or if the water's leaking because it's at the bottom of a hill, they have little tiny rubber seals called check valves you can put in, and that'll stop the water from draining out at the bottom of the hill. As we're going through and doing our site evaluation, you might want to have a piece of paper, mark down where your valves are, and then as you're going around and testing the valves, put down where each of the zones are. Right now we're going to check that backyard. I'm going to take a look at it. If I see any problems, I'll stick a flag next to it because it's always hard to find when you turn the sprinkler back off. This is always a good time to really look at your valves and make sure that they're not leaking anywhere around where the threaded areas are or where the solenoid is on the top of. So the sprinklers are on, and they actually have pretty good coverage. The water's throwing from one head to the next head, but what I'm noticing is there's that misting happening. And the misting is water that's too much pressure coming through this, and it's actually evaporating off and it's not making it to the surface. It's easy to address it by putting a pressure regulator on the system. Another thing to look for while you're looking for leaks is when the plant material has grown up over your sprinkler heads. What happens with that is that the sprinklers try and throw the water out, but it doesn't make it out here and you end up with a brown spot. I'm going to mark this area, and you can see the sprinkler is way down underneath here. So I'm going to mark this area so that I know to come back and make some adjustments, either move the sprinkler or move and prune that plant. Wow, we turned on the next section and this is what we found. I think we should turn it off. Can you turn it off, please? So as we check this one, what we can see is the guts to the sprinkler are missing. Definitely going to be in need of repair. In fact, I think it's completely broken. We're going to actually have to replace this whole head. So it's good, once again, to mark where it's at and then come back out with a shovel, a flat bottom shovel. You're going to dig around it so that you can unscrew that sprinkler head, get a new one, screw it back on the riser, and then it should work fine. And one of the very most obvious things to look for is green versus brown. If you look in an area that you know you have sprinklers in, and one section is nice and green, it looks like it has good coverage, and then you take a look and you see a section that doesn't appear to be getting even water coverage, first thing to look for is what's up with the sprinkler over there. You could have a broken pipe underground. You could have roots that have wrapped around and stopped the flow. It could be a failed sprinkler. On this one, what we've found is this particular sprinkler is not coming up at all. I'm going to mark it with a flag so that I know when I come to do my repairs that I need to address this particular issue. When it's repaired, we should have an even coverage of water and everything should be healthy again. I'm going to give you all a close-up of what a sprinkler body looks like. Most times it's underground, so you don't know what the guts look like. Sprinklers are composed of a body that attaches to your main water. There's a little riser, this screws into it. It's just a channel for the water. Inside of the body, there is the pop-up mechanism that's on a spring. This is called a check valve, just a little rubber washer that stops water from going back down the pipe. And then when it's all together, you just have a nozzle, and that's what directs the water where you want it in your landscape. This is something that everybody can do. When you have two sprinkler heads on a zone that one is working and one isn't, a lot of times it could be a problem with the actual PVC pipe between those two sprinkler heads. What you need to do is to try and use a screwdriver or a soil probe and track down where it's the wettest. And unfortunately, you need to dig. Working in your irrigation system is wet work, it's muddy work, but you can learn to repair things like a PVC break by going on our website and watching a couple of the videos that we have for you. It can be done, it's inexpensive. Good luck. Enjoy yourself, play in the sprinklers.